Don't you just love it when some guy on YouTube starts ripping apart a game we know almost nothing about based on a short teaser trailer? Yeah, me neither, but in this instance, I just can't help being that guy. I've been waiting for a Beyond Good and Evil sequel since I first beat the game back in 2003. There's a Beyond Good and Evil poster that has followed me since high school, still on my wall today. Those of us waiting on the sequel have put up with years of Ubisoft toying with our emotions. A teaser trailer was released back in 2008, and some gameplay footage came out the next year. Series creator Michael Ansel himself claimed that the game was playable back in 2008, but delayed due to undefined technical issues. New concept art appeared just last year, but nothing's ever been concrete. It seems certain that the day when we'd finally get our sequel would never come. Yesterday we came as close as we've ever gotten. A real announcement at E3 with a high production value trailer. This is it. It's really here. When I saw the headline, my heart jumped. 3.5 minutes later, and it had sunk again. First of all, this isn't a sequel at all, it's a prequel, and while that doesn't mean we couldn't see familiar faces, it does mean almost definitely that we won't see the return of the first game's protagonist, Jade, who, to date, is still one of the strongest female characters I've come across in a video game. The thing that was so compelling about Beyond Good and Evil wasn't just the conspiracy, but Jade's personal story and how it was woven in with the bigger picture. Jade's compassion and strength and perseverance were essential, and I'd want to continue her story even if the first game hadn't ended in a sequel teaser. Which it did, by the way. Here's something else I liked about the first game. If you hadn't noticed yet, the world of Beyond Good and Evil has half animal people living alongside of humans. In the first game, it's never really explained, it just is. And it works. They created a place with its own way of life. They even wrote the soundtrack in artificial languages that were designed to feel like real languages without actually being linked to the real world. The teaser breaks that almost immediately.
That's Swiss fucking chocolate, pig.
So this is a world where Swiss chocolate is a thing, which raises its own host of questions. And by the sounds of things, it does sound like it may be addressed by the plot, but the thing is, Beyond Good and Evil never felt like it needed to explain itself. We didn't care why the local shop was run by half rhinos, or why Jade's uncle was a pig. The first game never buried us in exposition. Humans and these half-animal races lived side by side, and the art style really worked with that. As good as the new trailer does look, I worry that it might get a little more uncanny valley with this realistic look, where having humans side by side with these animals might end up looking more like some people were dropped into Zootopia, rather than this being a world that was designed this way. But you know, it's been 14 years since the first game came out. We can do more with graphics now, and maybe an aesthetic change is inevitable. And hey, we're getting a more mature game for a more mature audience. I mean, come on, they can say fuck now.
Bang, bang, motherfuckers!
And boy, do they say it a lot in 3 minutes.
I want every fucking cop in this fucking city after that fucking bastard!
Fuck me.
You're very edgy, Ubisoft, we get it. Anyways, the trailer went on, I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe this didn't feel like a Beyond Good and Evil game because maybe it never was. It kind of feels like another game has been rewritten to fit into the Beyond Good and Evil framework, like when Dinosaur Planet had the Star Fox franchise bolted on. Maybe that was the compromise Ubisoft required to finally get Beyond Good and Evil 2 moving, but if that's the case, then like Star Fox Adventures, it runs the risk of watering down both the original concept and the existing franchise, creating a weak shadow of what might have been if it could have committed to one side or the other. And I know I'm being negative about this, but it's because I've wanted this game for so long. So was creator Michael Ansel, who was reportedly close to tears when finally getting to make this announcement. He's clearly excited for this, but it's far too soon to tell if it's because his vision is finally coming together, or because he's just glad he was finally able to get something moving forward after years of being strung along by Ubisoft. But here's the good news. The trailer is extremely polished with a lot of detail put into the brief glimpse we get of these new characters and locations. It's only a cinematic, which everyone in the gaming community knows means just about nothing, but it does feel like it's going somewhere. If this really is Beyond Good and Evil 2, it still might have that same sense of characterization and place that the first game had. It might be a really great game, but it won't be the sequel that I and many others have been waiting for. I assumed a long time ago that it wasn't coming, but now maybe it's really time to let go. Jade's story may just be one of many video game questions that never gets answered.